Did you know that when somebody gives you flowers, they're actually giving you a really amazing way to read their energy towards you as well as the future potential of the relationship? I'm Beth and I specialize in doing relationship readings, and I'm going to show you how you can read your flowers. Anytime somebody gives you something, their energy is infused in it, and flowers can give you so much information about that energy. In particular, I find this technique to be very illuminating when the person personally gives you the flowers. So if they ordered flowers from a florist and had them delivered to you, it's still there, but it doesn't tell you nearly as much as when they have handled the flowers themselves and personally give them to you. The first thing you're probably going to notice is the color, and you can always just look up what the different colors mean. The person might not have known that they meant these things, but somewhere in there was this intention most likely. So with the white roses, for example, this indicates purity and loyalty, and the orange can indicate desire and creativity and fun and passion. So it's showing that this person is very loyal, has very strong positive intentions, and also still has that desire. You can also think about it from chakras. So for example, this would be like the crown chakra. There's like a spiritual connection, really wanting to like connect on that level. And the orange, which is the sacral chakra connection. The next thing you want to look at is how the flowers open and bloom. If they don't really open very much at all, they just kind of stay tight and closed, that means that this relationship is kind of tight and closed off. There's not really anything that's going to bloom here. That's a really big sign. Now, I have 24 roses here. I split them into 6 and 18 just so I could have them in 2 different spots in my home. The only flower that didn't really open much was this one. So that indicates that there is a lot of blooming in this relationship, and you can even see how a lot of the flowers opened really, really full and really beautifully. In fact, like some of these are some of the most beautiful blooms I've ever seen in the way that these flowers are opening. They're just opening so perfectly and they're so full, and it's really making me so happy seeing how they're opening. And so that's also a sign, like the way that I feel looking at the flowers is another part of the reading. You also want to pay attention to the way the flowers smell. If the smell feels overpowering to you, that can indicate that their energy might be overpowering for you. If the smell is subtle and attractive and pleasant to you and you're drawn to it, that's a very positive sign. I'm super sensitive to smell, so I love that there's like a very subtle smell and it's gentle. It does smell nice, but I'm not constantly having to think about it. They're not overpowering me in any way. Next, you want to look at what's happening as the flowers are aging over time. So you can see that I still have some flowers that are just thriving in here, still blooming and blossoming, and some flowers that have started to kind of wilt, especially some of these orange flowers it looks like, and some of them it almost looks like they're a little bit crushed. And so something I can think about is like, am I sort of crushing this person's creativity or desire in a way? Maybe that's something I need to be actually mindful of. I see that even though they are starting to wilt, and of course flowers are going to die, like that's no secret, but the way that they die is indicative of things. So I can see there's still this beautiful color here. And so that's actually still a really positive sign. If the flowers start to mold, that's not a very good sign. So even on, for example, some of these white flowers, or like on this vase, I feel like you can really see it. On some of these flowers, you can see they're aging. Of course, there's a little bit of color just on the tips. And that also can show that this relationship has a lot of potential, that as we age, there's still so much beauty, and there's gonna be just like more wrinkles and that aging energy, but there's still so much beauty underneath. You also want to pay attention to how quickly all this is happening, and these flowers have actually lasted for a while already, so they're doing really great still, and they're just so beautiful. So overall, this is a really positive reading.